Hello everyone, welcome back to Dollar Moat. Today we will be discussing Nuix, ASX NXL. Nuix is a provider of investigative analytics and intelligence software and currently serves 1,000 clients across 78 countries. They state their mission as the following: to create innovative software that empowers organizations to simply and quickly find the truth from any data in a digital world. What does this exactly mean and how do they do it? Nuix is made up of a core which is called the Nuix engine. This Nuix engine is the crux of their product and it is what does the data processing which is ingested into it. The Nuix engine can process a range of different file types and have effectively reduced it to 10 dimensions of data. This is very well illustrated in this image. From this, the Nuix engine leads to their 4 products that address and attempt to accomplish their mission statement of finding truth from any data in a digital world. It will be useful to explain the products to gain a deeper understanding of what they do and the use cases of Nuix. Nuix Workstation. The Nuix Workstation is the power user interface of the Nuix engine and is really only used by sophisticated members of the Nuix platform. In this workstation application, users can build a new case to process, monitor, and investigate data from multiple locations. They can also investigate and control the processing of more than 1,000 file formats, as well as run a high-volume search and statistical analysis across the data. Nuix Investigate. Nuix Investigate is used to analyze a wide variety of file types, including, but not limited to, telephone calls, electronic messages and emails, locations, photographs, and sound files or recordings. This provides users with insights into the who, what, where, and when of an event or situation by showing relationships between the data that has been given. Users of Nuix Investigate typically include law enforcement analysts, insider threat teams, corporate investigators, and compliance officers. Nuix Endpoint. Nuix Endpoint is an endpoint security and investigation software program that provides users with an all-in-one solution for monitoring, threat detection, data protection, and collection across organizations. Examples of where Nuix Endpoint may be used by a customer include real-time analysis of unstructured data to identify and remediate cybersecurity incidents, monitoring of employee behaviors on an organization's system, as well as running a post-event investigation following a security or privacy breach. And the 4th application is Nuix Discover. Nuix Discover, which includes the Ringtail platform, is an end-to-end e-discovery solution used by customers to find evidence and build cases for litigation or general criminal proceedings, as well as regulatory investigations and compliance audits. The tool also allows for predictive coding and review of data from disparate sources so that it can be more effectively used as evidence or to accomplish the customer's intended objectives. This overall is how the Nuix engine and the Nuix 4 main products currently stand. In terms of a business model, Nuix's customers purchase software licenses to access one or more of Nuix's applications. At present, the most commonly purchased license type is a module license, which provides a customer with access to a particular Nuix application for a predetermined period of time at a specified price. In addition, customers may also acquire a consumption license, where customers are charged based on the amount of data processed or under management. The final type of license is a perpetual license, which allows for customers to use the licensed software version indefinitely, so indefinitely, for a one-time fee. It should be said that the perpetual license is then usually accompanied by a maintenance license over time in order for the customers to get updates. These subscription licenses reflect most of their revenue, and in FY 2020 it represented 88.7%. This is good since the subscription licenses usually occur for multi-year terms, which stabilizes and establishes a solid and reliable base of revenue. With this very good understanding of what Nuix actually does, it will now be useful to have a look at some of their more interesting points. So their first interesting point is that Nuix has fairly good financials for a recently listed company. It only just listed in December. In FY 2018, it made $114 million in revenue. In FY 2019, it made $140 million in revenue. And in FY 2020, it made $176 million in revenue. Further, the company is making profit. Their NPAT, which is net profit after tax, in 2018 was 6.3 million. In 2019, it was 7.4 million. And in FY 2020, it was 23.6 million. Also, in FY 2020, it had a gross profit margin of 88.2% and an EBITDA of 31.5%. These are all fairly decent numbers. A particularly interesting factor of Nuix's financial performance is its net dollar retention as well as its churn. Achieving a net dollar retention of greater than 100% indicates that the net value from renewals and upsell renewals in a given financial period exceeds any value decrease from downsell renewals or churn. What does this mean? This means that growth from the existing customer base more than offsets the losses from that same customer base. In this figure, you can see that in all 3 years, it is over 100%, meaning that there is growth within that confined set of clients. Further, if we look at the same figure, the churn rates of a company is also relatively good since it is not that high. It was 6% in 2018, 3.5% in FY 2019, and 4.7% in FY 2020. A second interesting point is that Nuix has good customer diversification. This diversification occurs across both region and industry. Nuix provides its software to more than 1,000 customers across 78 countries, with 55.5% of its FY 2020 total revenue generated by customers in the United States and Canada, 28.2% in the European, Middle Eastern, and African markets, as well as 16.3% in the Asia Pacific. Nuix's customers are predominantly categorized as follows: advisory and service providers, which includes the big 4 accounting firms, 35.0% of FY 2020 revenue. Governments, including law enforcement agencies and regulators, 19.9% of FY 2020 revenue. Corporates, including multinational enterprises, 19.4% of FY 2020 revenue. Law firms, approximately 10.5% of FY 2020 revenue, as well as the general category of new markets, which is 15.2%. This general market of New markets is a category that represents a collection of customers across the above industry verticals in Nuix's new markets, which includes Japan, New Zealand, Germany, India, and the Middle East. Evidently, this is quite diversified. And what can also be drawn from this graphic is that Nuix really has strong relationships and strong contracts with clients across the world. Some of the major investigations they have been involved in include the Panama Papers, the Royal Commission into Misconduct in the banking, superannuation, and financial services industry, of course, that is within Australia, organized crime rings, corporate scandals, and terrorist activities. Also, as a final point from the image, what is even more impressive is the long-term usage by the clients, which is evident in figure 30. 70% have used Nuix for more than 5 years. So that's these two numbers added together. This really places Nuix in a good location as a global and well-recognized player across multiple industries. On a similar note, the third interesting point of Nuix is that it seems to have strong expertise, proprietary technology, and good backing. The Nuix platform is underpinned by 15 years of R&D, so research and development, with over $200 million invested in AU dollars, where these costs have been incurred by Nuix since 2008. This is a significant amount, which is a positive as it suggests that the Nuix product cannot be easily replicated. Further, the employees at Nuix are divided into 3 categories, namely sales and distribution, general and administrative, as well as research and development. From this graph, it is evident that research and development is a significant amount of employees at 41%. This highlights the highly technical nature of their operations and the value of their employee labor. Other than these 2 elements identified, Nuix also has good corporate backing as its origins is closely tied to Macquarie Bank. They currently own about 30% of the company, which was reduced by approximately half from the amount they owed pre-IPO, so approximately 60%. This overall suggests a strong reputation and expert knowledge of their industry, which is necessary in such a technical product such as Nuix. This is Nuix ASX NXL. This is an exciting company and one that I believe we will be hearing more for quite some time in the future. Let me know your thoughts and potential negative points for this company.